Hello, everybody. This is Dolores NYC Taylor. It's my pleasure to be with you at this time just to speak some sense to nonsense. Sense to nonsense. That's what we're going to call this show tonight. Just speaking sense to nonsense. There's so much crazy happening in our world, in our churches, in our homes. The things that are happening now are just, they're atrocities. They're things that probably our forefathers and our ancestors and our great-great-grandparents, if they knew that these things were going on in the world today, they would literally be flipping over in their graves. One of the things that I think is the reason why we're having such a hard time in our society, in the world, is because people, our children, our youth are not being trained, or they're not being taught to obey them that have rule over them. There's just a mass level of disrespect, and it's throughout the land. I mean, it's unbelievable to see and to hear some of the things that's going on. I look at some of the situations that's happening with the police departments and our African American people. It's no longer just happening to African American men, but it's happening also to African American women. And it's on both sides. It's on both sides. We see a lot of times where police officers stop people, and the moment the officer comes to the car, the driver of the car or a passenger in the car becomes hostile, and they're like, they pull out a camera, say, I need your name, I need your badge number, I'm not going to talk to you until you give me a supervisor. Okay, that's foolishness. Okay, that's foolishness. And then on the other hand, we have police stopping, some black people, what looks like to be just stupid stuff. That's petty. You going through all of this because a person has a, busted tail light, or they made a turn and didn't put their signal on. Sometimes, it's like we see if things are being roughed up. Things are being hyped and they're being taken to another level. And trust what I say. Please mark my word on this. There will be war in America. We've always discussed war as it relates to the Middle East. We've discussed war as it related to other countries around the world. Well, I'm here at this time to inform you that there will be war in America. And it is such an unfortunate situation that there will be war in America. And the war, even though America is full of all races, but the war will be between black and white. There's a war going on. There's a war going on. And there are a lot of, excuse me, there are a lot of things that Minister Farrakhan has said over the years that I greatly support him. I'm not a part of the Nation of Islam. I am a believer in Christ. As far as I'm Christian, if you want to call it that, but I'm really not Christian, because I think that's a cliche in and of itself too. But I'm a born again follower of Jesus Christ. And I take it even to a higher degree than just saying I'm Christian, but I'm born again. Okay. But there have been a lot of things that Minister Farrakhan have said over the years. I mean, I'm 50 plus years old, and I have been familiar with his, not just his voice, but his message for quite some time. I like a lot of what he says. There are some things that he has done that I take, it's like, whoa, dude, come on, brother, come on, brother minister. You were wrong in doing that. But in all actuality, I would say there are more things that I have found him to be a benefit as far as his truth. I have found him to be a benefit. And I always like to use the scenario. I follow no man blindly. I don't care. No, no, no. I follow no man blindly. So even if I subscribe to what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying, I support a lot of what you say, but once you do something that's contrary, and once you do something that's against what is right, then I take a stand against that and I hold it down. But when you come back and you start bringing forth the truth as it is really truth, and it's factual truth, I give you the thumbs up. But I'm saying all of that to say, one of the things that Minister Louis Farrakhan has said over the years, and when he would say it, it wasn't that I disagree with it, I just didn't see it. I just didn't grasp it. I didn't get it. But I would always listen to him. And he would always say that the white race, as we've known it, their time is coming to an end. Now, not meaning that they're just all going to die and they're going to be killed and they're going to be gone, but he meant their time of power, their time of influence. And it's going to happen as a result of that. God's got to make amends. And let's be honest about it. Reparations were promised, but reparations will never happen. They won't. They won't. They won't. And the unfortunate thing about reparations is the reason why reparations won't happen is because the people who own the money of reparations, the people who own what it would take to properly repair the black community, they're not giving up. They're not going to give it up. And so they're going to use for their excuse, well, nobody that's alive today is guilty of being a slave master. Which you forget that even though no one may not be alive today that held slaves, but you must remember there are many people that are alive today that benefited. Their race and their culture has benefited from what black people had to suffer and do in this country. You see. So I want to say, I'm putting this out there because I want people to see that I am a balanced person. In the last election, the 2016 election, I voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald John Trump. I voted for him because when all the dust settled between the two that were standing, I saw him as a better candidate. So I know a lot of people. I mean, most people I know, most of my friends, most of my colleagues, my family, they were like, "What? What's wrong with you? You crazy? Something wrong with you?" And I've had to take a lot of heat for voting for Donald Trump. And the reason why I'm bringing this out at this time is because I want people who are just so far to the left or so far to the right to understand that you can be a sensible person, a black African American sensible person who voted for a Donald Trump, but yet in all actuality, I have not. And I want to repeat this. I have not forgotten or laid down my roots or somehow believe that, all white people just love all black people and all black people just love all white people. No. No. Not at all. I am a black woman who voted for Donald Trump, who also believe at this point, I didn't always believe in reparation, but I realize what I realize is happening is that as we get older, as we live longer, then more life more of life's reality, more of what is reasonable, and what makes sense starts to make sense. Reparations mean that we need to be repaired. And we don't need to be. I heard Mr. Mitch McConnell, OMG. You sounded mighty foolish, man, when you said that black people have made a lot of accomplishments. And in exchange for reparation, we elected a black president. Are you serious? Are you serious, Mr. Mitch McConnell? I could have respect for you if you were just having a bad moment, because we all have a bad moment, But when you come out of your face and say, we good because we in other words, we gave y'all colored folks an African American president, so suck it up and that's your reparations. And I also want to say, for all the people, and I'm sending this message out to Minister Farrakhan. I respect you, man. I respect you. I believe that you are a man who, to the best of your knowledge, you are walking upright. But I'm angry with you in a, not a personal way, but I'm disappointed in you that while Barack Obama was in office, you didn't scream and holler. You said a little things, little something. But while he was in office, you said nothing. You said nothing. And I'm pretty sure that in addition to you not saying anything, you instructed your followers to not say anything. See, black people thought when Barack Obama was elected, they started cheering. They were out, doing the pomp and circumstance. We got a black president. We got a black president. And he did nothing. He put nothing on the books for black people. And when he was the president, it amazes me how all the people try to say, he's everybody's president. He can't just do anything for black people because he's everybody's president. Since the beginning of time, let me educate you, people. Since the beginning of time, every president that was elected owed a debt to their constituents. What do you mean? The people who rallied behind them, there was always some type of repaying. The homosexual community, they rallied behind Barack Obama, and Obama rewarded them. He rewarded them. Black people, they rallied behind Barack Obama. Black people that had never been excited about voting before, they voted for Barack Hussein Obama. Lines in 2008 were wrapped around. People were just out in mass numbers. And let me say this before I'm going to put a peg in it because I'm going to come back to that. But let me say this. Donald Trump, I voted for you. I supported you in 2016. But trust me, my dear, your inaugural, the day that you were sworn in, you did not have more people than Barack Hussein Obama. I'm sorry. And Trump has tried to play that. The camera didn't pick up on everybody. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You didn't have it. So don't worry about that. Just try to do what you're supposed to do in order to, in your words, make America great again. But Trump is always attacking Barack Obama. Barack Obama, he came, he served his time. He's gone now. He's a citizen. He's an elite citizen, but he's a citizen now. But my issue to Minister Farrakhan, Minister, you are a great minister. You are an influential voice in America. You are an inspiration. You have inspired me probably more than any pastor that I've ever had, maybe with the exception of two. You have. You have. I agree, not just what you say, but I agree with the way you passionately say what you say. But I have a ought against you. I have an ought, minister. We all screaming now, Donald Trump. Donald Trump will most likely be reelected in 2020 because he was successfully able, and I'm not mad at him. He was able to do something that no other Republican president has been able to do. Donald Trump was able to appeal to black people. He was able to appeal to black people. So as a result, he was able to pull a segment of support from people who would normally vote Democrat. And, he appealed to them. He appealed to me. But I follow no man blindly. And I want to make that very clear. I support you. I can be on your team. I can like what you're doing. But when you do something that's crazy, when you do something that's contrary, hey, that's where the rubber meets the road. Whoa, no. And I respectfully challenge you, Minister Farrakhan. And I hear you now, and you saying Trump, and Trump is this, and Trump is that, and Trump, and Trump ain't that, and how could you do this, Mr. Trump, and how dare you, Mr. Trump? But when Barack Obama was in office, after you saw, Minister Farrakhan, after you saw that after Barack Obama was reelected, and you saw him going in a direction that was not only contrary to God, but it would have been contrary that it was beginning to be realized that black people are not getting anything out of the deal. Please, Minister Farrakhan, why did you stand down? Why did you stand down on Barack Obama? Why didn't you allow the people in the Nation of Islam to cry out? Because he was your brother? So I'm saying all that to say, we get a Trump because of Obama. Every president, whatever they do or don't do, they set the stage for the person who will come behind them. Obama left nothing for us as black people. He put nothing on the books. So now we have people that are benefiting from what was supposed to be how black people in America were made whole again. Reparations. To repair. And and to be repaired is not meaning that you are being repaired because somebody's giving you some food stamps and some free medical insurance and some project housing living. That's not repairing. That's not repairing. So that's my question, Minister Farrakhan. Why did you not challenge Barack Obama? Why did you not scream and yell and come hard on him? And when he did what he did, whenever Obama did something that was against the benefit of black people, Minister Farrakhan, you said he's under the white man's spell. So, Minister Farrakhan, because you were the one, it's you. Right now, probably for the last 10 years, you are the most influential voice in the black community. Your voice, you as a black man, and the second would be, or the person who would stand side by side with you would be Bishop T.D. Jakes. Bishop T.D. Jakes and Minister Louis Farrakhan. You two are the predominant, influential voices for Black America at this time. And you didn't cry loud. You didn't stand against Obama. So as a result of you not standing against Obama, the way you have stood against others, we get a Trump. We get a Trump. And Trump do some things I like. He'll do something I like on Monday at 2 o'clock. And I promise you, by 3:30, he has done something so contrary until it's like, what the world, what the world? So I want to say, Donald Trump, God is not the author of confusion. One thing I'm for sure of, that how I see you acting, you are not being led by God. And because you're not being led by God, then I will challenge you even as a supporter. And people are like, ooh, I can't wait for 2020. I'm voting for him. I don't know what I'm doing in 2020. I haven't even finished 2019 yet. So I'm keeping my eyes open. I keep my heart open, and I allow God to change whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm experiencing. And it also amazes me how all the people now are praying, saying, God put Trump in office. God didn't put Trump in office. God didn't put no president in office. We vote, and what the person who is elected into office, they get to decide if they will do what is right, or if they will do what was wrong. And if you're going to stick to the fact that you believe that God put people in office, then why are you voting? Why are you encouraging people to vote? Why are you passing laws to say vote fraud, election fraud is on the rise, and we've got to do things to minimize that? We've got to send a strong message. Because you know God doesn't put presidents in office. But what he will do is whoever we put in, if they follow him, then as the Bible say, and Jehoshaphat did what was right in the sight of the Lord. And then there were others who did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. So, don't give me that. Don't give me that. But I challenge you, Minister Farrakhan. I challenge you. You have a voice. And see, one of the things that works to the advantage of Minister Farrakhan, that does not work to the advantage of others. And Farrakhan, he probably think he's so hated and people don't like him. And that's probably true. He probably does have a lot of haters. But the reason why people hate you is because you bear the arms of truth. And for the most part, it doesn't look like you're two-faced. I'm not with you on a personal level. I only see you when you come out. I only hear you when you speak. But one of the things I have over the years admired about you is that you don't seem to be two-faced. So I'm saying all of that to say that we ended up with Trump because people who were influential, Bishop Jakes, Minister Farrakhan, they did not speak out against Barack Obama. They were soft. They were soft. I knew, let me say this, I knew that Barack Obama would be a disappointment. You know when I knew that he would be a disappointment? I'm going to tell you. Everybody had their moment when they knew that he would be whatever it was that he was to them. But I knew that he would be a disappointment when the media began to attack Dr. Jeremiah Wright, who was Barack Obama's pastor at the time. And Barack Obama dialed back. And I said to people, I said, oh, I don't like that. You know, I like ride or die. That was one of the things that I did admire about G.W. Bush. He said he don't care what. This is who I like. This is who I want. And I'm not going to turn against them because you say something. But Barack Obama, you know, he started throwing people under the bus. He was doing whatever he needed to do to get elected. And I didn't like that. Didn't like it at all. And so for all you black people that's so-called hating on Trump, you hate him and he's racist. I don't know if he's racist or not, but to be honest, I don't care. You know, I'm not married to the man. So I would only be concerned about who's racist if I were married to them. You see, because who I'm married with, that's who I'm one with. But as far as who goes into that White House, that's an elected office. It's no different than you go to the grocery store and you buy your food at Walmart or Kroger or Publix or Price Chopper or, you know, wherever you buy your food. You go to the bodega and it's all Muslims that work in the bodega. They probably don't like you either. So we got to be balanced and we got to know truth. And we have to speak truth where there's light, and where there's darkness, we have to bring the light. And so I'm able to speak about things in a very wide spectrum. I got issue with Farrakhan. I got issue with T.D. Jakes because you did not speak out against Barack Obama. Was it because he was black? And I'm dropping names because you two are the the people of interest in America. People are very interested in what you say and what you don't say. Now, to his credit, I have to say, you know, Minister Farrakhan did, you know, come along after Barack Obama left office, and he, you know, kind of said some things. I was like, okay, but it's like he already did what he did. Now it's like, why were you not crying out when he was in office? So, Minister Farrakhan, you can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. If you don't like unrighteousness, you can't like it no matter who's doing it. Because Trump really, in all actuality, he's no more unrighteous than others that have occupied office. The difference is he don't care who know. He doesn't care if you know how he feels. So, Donald Trump is the president. He will be the president at least until 2020. We don't know what will happen after then. But I'm going to encourage people to keep your hearts open. If you voted for Donald Trump in 2016, keep your heart open. It's too far in advance to already say you're going to vote for Donald Trump in 2016. Donald Trump is an answer to some people's prayer. Because a lot of white people were upset that Barack Obama occupied the White House. And they were glad that he, to see him go. And they did not like Hillary. It wasn't because of no Benghazi. Trust me. No. Because the reason why people don't like Hillary Clinton, I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. It's not because, of no Benghazi. The reason why the powers that be don't like Hillary is because they already know if Hillary get in, she's going to do a lot of things for black folk. And so people are saying, oh, she believes in abortion. Abortion is going to be here. Whether or not it's done legally or not, or people start doing it in their house. See, I'm saying I believe that to take away abortion 100%, I believe that's going to be a problem. And I'm a Christian. I'm a born again believer. No, let me put Christian on the side, because everybody's like, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a born again, holy filled woman of God who believe that you gotta, if you're gonna undo the abortion law, you gotta peel it softly. You gotta peel it softly. To be radical with it, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So, I just needed to vent. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to title this video, but I needed to vent. Because this is a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, And see, for me, I don't mind being in the hot seat. The hot seat. What I say to one, I say to all. I fear only one, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ. I fear God in a way that even when I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I don't feel right about it. So I don't just feel bad if I do something wrong, but when I don't do what I'm supposed to do, and like it's been a long time, the Lord have been dealing with me about doing these videos, and I fought against it. I was like, Lord, I do not want to do it. Please, I don't like being seen. I would much rather just be heard. But, I gotta come forth. I gotta do what the Lord says to do. And so, as a minister of the Lord, as a minister of the gospel, each of my videos will be different. They all will not be just a preaching video. Some will be preaching. Some I will be talking about politics. Some I will be talking about just whatever is going on. It's like, hey, whatever is happening. If it's going on, then I have an opinion of it. If it's happening in the world, I have an opinion. Because now as we get closer and closer to the end of time, now maybe 25 and 30 years ago, what people did on the other side of the world would not affect us. But now, whether or not we realize it or not, we've become more intricate together than we are apart. So what happens in Europe really does inadvertently, in its own way, affect me, because we're all beginning to be one now. There's not that much of a separation in the world as it once was. So all I'm saying is that let's take the time that we need, people, to use your brain. That's what I would say to my grandson. I remember a few years ago, I'm gonna share this and then I'm getting out the way. But a few years ago, when I was with my daughter and her children, and I remember, sometimes, and kids do this. I think all children do it. Like they ask for something that they already know the answer to. Okay, so my grandson, he would just ask, Grandma, like I'll say, for instance, if I had, a bottle of water, my grandson, he would say, Grandma, what are you drinking? And I would say, I wouldn't tell him. At first I would tell him, because I'm thinking, I'm drinking water, baby. But then I started realizing, like, well, you asked me a question. So what I started realizing was that he was asking me a question that he already knew the answer to, But he didn't understand, like, you don't have to put that in a question. What he was really saying was, can I have a bottle of water? So I would say, when he would ask questions that I knew that he already knew the answer to, like he would say, what is that, Grandma? What is this? If it were eyeglasses, I would say, Cornelius, use your brain. You know what that is. What is that? And then he would tell me. So this is to go to show you just how children are so bright, even when they're toddlers, even when they're little. So he goes to daycare at that time. He was going to daycare at that time. And something went on at the daycare center, and the director was having a hard time figuring out what to do. And I guess my grandson heard her, discussing with the other staff members that she was having a difficult time. And, she was just dealing with a lot of pressure. And she told me, she says, and Cornelius, he got up and he walked over to me and he said, Miss Barry, my grandmother says, use your brain, use your brain, use your brain. And she told me this. I said, oh my goodness. And I said, yeah, that's what I teach him, to use his brain. And so he was telling, his director, use your brain. He didn't understand at that moment that, he was saying anything wrong. He was just, passing on the truth. So I want to say to you all what I've always said to my grandchildren. Use your brain. That's why you have it. God has given it to you for a reason. Don't let it be waste. Don't let it go to nothing. The saying some years ago, a mind is a terrible thing to lose or to waste, and it is. It is. That's why in Isaiah 26:3, the word of the Lord says that God will keep us in perfect peace if we keep our minds on him. So when I see people that's having hard time and struggling in their brain, in their mind, it's letting me know that you're not keeping your mind on him. As we get older, things are going to start happening in the brain and in the mind. But what you got to do is, if you understand what God has promised to you in his word, if you believe in the word, stand on Isaiah 26:3. And I stand on, that's a scripture that I stand on. I stand on others, but I really stand on that, because I declare I shall not, and I repeat this, I shall not have Alzheimer's. That is one disease that will not come nigh me. Praise be to God, because I'm standing on Deuteronomy 28, where God spoke about all the blessings that you will have if you obey the commandments. And if you do not obey the commandments, the cursings will come, sickness and disease will come. And I'm standing on that because I follow God's commandments. So I'm standing on Isaiah 26:3. He will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him. This is your host, your lady with the flavor, Dolores, New York City Taylor. Until next time, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.